Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing a mini review on Watch Dogs Legion, more importantly the free weekend of content that came out last week. Starting off, I'm just going to say it's a bit of a step back in terms of free weekends for Ubisoft games because usually it's unlimited access. Like in The Division, I actually completed the story of The Division before I even got it from the free weekend, whereas Watch Dogs Legion had a cap for most things. I also want to say that it's weird how the game feels not like a free weekend, but it feels like a beta or like a demo. It doesn't feel fully fleshed out, and it's been out since October of 2020. It's pretty bad to still feel like a beta since then. Giving the benefit of the doubt, at this point where I felt this way, I was playing the multiplayer portion, which is new, but should launch with the game anyway. The matchmaking system on the multiplayer is absolutely terrible. There is crashes that happen all the time. I was often getting into lobbies where my character was already dead before I spawned, if I even did spawn, that is. Most of the time I didn't end up spawning in and just would die. My game would then crash, I'd come back on and my character would be arrested for X amount of time or injured or whatever, and I wouldn't be able to play as them, which is kind of pissed considering I wasn't actually playing at the point where I, quote, died. I also just generally have disdain for the amount of lag in the game. I know a lot of games lag, I know not everyone has perfect internet, I'm aware, but in free roam, as an example, this free roam lobby right now is running smooth, but that's because I'm playing with my friend who lives in the same country as me. Whenever I went into free lobbies, whenever I went into like a multiplayer lobby just searching randomly, which I would constantly do by accident despite joining invites, it would lag the second I got in with anyone who wasn't on my friends list. Like heinous amounts of lag. Things wouldn't render, things wouldn't appear, and then eventually it would just scream to a halt and crash. It was really disappointing because I've actually wanted to buy Watch Dogs Legion since release. I've been a huge fan of Watch Dogs and a huge fan of this game specifically because I'm from London. I was born and raised in London. I was excited to see it all. I went to it. It all looks pretty shit, I'm going to be honest, for the fact that they made Washington to scale, and then London looks awful compared to what it actually looks like. Like London Victoria just looks like a random building that they just put London Victoria on. Kind of, at least match the energy, lads. If you're going to, make a game in America and a game in Britain, put the same effort into both, really. Especially considering I'm pretty sure the people that made Division aren't even from America either. At least some of them. So it's a bit, it's a bit confusing. I just feel like the same effort wasn't put into this that they put into other Ubisoft games, because despite what people say, other Ubisoft games are really good. As an example, if you look back to my previous commentary, I spoke very highly of Hyperscape. And prior to that, I have spoken highly of Rainbow Six Siege, I've spoken highly of Division, I've spoken highly of Division 2, Far Cry even. I hold them as sort of the pillars of quite a lot of things. Like Rainbow Six is peak first person shooter. Far Cry, really good, exploration, open world. Watch Dogs had a really good hacking system until they completely butchered it for no reason, then took everything out for I don't know why. But yeah, it just feels like they didn't put much effort into this game. They were willing to be like, hey look, we made a game in London, but it looks nothing like London anywhere at all. And then even the parts where it does look like London, as an example, Piccadilly Circus looks dead accurate. That's because, one, really famous location, two, it's already in about 5 other video games. It was in Modern Warfare last year. It's not unheard of to see Piccadilly Circus in a video game. Whereas I was expecting the places that I've been to also get some representation. Like I said, London Victoria, I've been through that a lot. I used to travel through there to go up north when I lived in St Helens, and that location kind of holds a strong meaning to me of sort of the central hub of London, in my opinion, and in my eyes, and it just wasn't, I'm not going to say misrepresented, because it wasn't represented, because that wasn't London Victoria. But to stop harping on and complaining, I'm just going to say the actual single player, despite me not playing it for very long because I wanted to go back on Hyperscape, I really enjoyed the single player. Obviously lag wasn't a factor, matchmaking wasn't a factor, multiple other things weren't a factor. My game didn't crash, my game didn't freeze, frame rate didn't drop. But still, it just felt like it was missing something. And I feel like one of the things it was missing was a full co-op campaign, because people have been asking for it for years, and this was the perfect time to put a co-op campaign, because there is no main character. There's no main character. Like, you know, in a lot of games like Saints Row, the big issue is the fact that you're both, quote, the boss, and you're both the same character. In this game, that issue isn't there and isn't present, because the main character is whoever you want it to be, in a sense. So I was playing as quite a lot of Irish people in my playthrough, and I've seen a lot of people playing as, like, you know, posh London people, more Cockney style London people. It could be whoever you want it to be, but they still didn't take the time to put in multiplayer for some reason. Like, I don't think Ubisoft realized the bar for co-op campaigns is painfully low right now, in the sense that you don't even need both people stood in the cutscene. Like, Destiny doesn't do that, Division doesn't do that, no one does that. So where's the problem arising that they never put co-op campaigns in? Even on some games where, like, co-op campaigns just make sense, instead what we get is a co-op mode where you do different missions. Ubisoft had it for Assassin's Creed, they had it for Watch Dogs, and it's just a weird pattern that I kind of wish they'd break and just kind of get away from, because despite the fact that this is sort of the age of multiplayer for most people right now, I really miss co-op campaigns, I really miss co-op stories, and I just wish someone would take a stand and sort of say, we're going to be that company that makes the co-op campaigns. And I kind of wish Ubisoft would be that person, because yet again, their story content's pretty good. Their story behind Rainbow Six is good, the story behind this game is good, the other Watch Dogs, it's good. Granted, you know, sometimes they go too silly or too serious, but it happens, you know what I mean? It's just a thing. I'm gonna let the rest of these wacky little clips play out in the background with, you know, the visual of me getting murdered. And I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, share it with a friend. I'd say a Watch Dogs fan, but do they exist? So yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.
I'm invisible still? Why are you driving?
That was
You're
insane.
completely invisible?